Okay, welcome to another episode of the B Moby Show, where we are talking about starting up and maintaining your small business. Today I have an expert with me who is a CPA, Jill Jacobs, and she runs and operates Jill Jacobs CPA in Sacramento, California. How are you today, Jill?
I'm great, thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
I have been a CPA now for 13 years. I started working for another practice in Sacramento doing audits and transitioned into doing more corporate management work and went out on my own about 10 years ago.
Congratulations.
And so that kind of led me down the road to helping more small businesses.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about Jill Jacobs CPA, like how long you guys have been around. You just said 10 years, or the types of services that you do offer for small businesses.
So yes, we've been around for 10 years, and I work with a staff. I have 3 bookkeepers and an administrative assistant, and we do just about anything a small business could need in terms of back office support. We do bookkeeping, we do payroll, we do budgeting, we do tax preparation. I'm a CFO by the hour, meaning if you need a budget prepared, a bank packet prepared, you have an expert that you can pay by the hour rather than spending $100,000 a year on your own CFO.
Nice. There you go. So, as we're starting up small businesses, a lot of people, business owners struggle with, having, doing it themselves, or, hiring someone to do it for them. So what are the most important, 2 to 3 steps you would have for a business when it comes to starting up? You kind of mentioned delegating the task, but what would be those 2 to 3 most important things for the success of a business owner?
So the first thing that I would say in terms of success is you need to make sure that you have planned your business well. And usually that involves an accountant, an attorney, even an insurance agent. A lot of times people kind of jump in and then they look after they've jumped and realize that they don't have the capital that they need, or that their marketing strategy wasn't quite right, and so they don't have the income they were expecting. And what ends up happening is they get themselves either into debt or, and the business has failed just basically for lack of planning. And so the first step really is to pull together your team and let that team's expertise help lead you to a path of success.
Nice.
The second step would be, once you're set up and you're making a little bit of income, figure out what you're good at and delegate what you're not. Everybody's an expert in something. If you're a marketing genius and your business takes off super fast, but you're terrible with paper, don't handle your own paper. Have somebody else do it. And then the third thing would really be to make sure that you continue to check your progress. Make sure that you're checking how you're doing against your budget. And even if you're not the paper person, you need to still be looking at how you're doing, and make sure you understand your records enough to know if you're getting off track.
So, Jill, would you, as the business owners, make that initial business plan, do you advise in the area of helping them stay on track as far as their budget is concerned?
Yes. We'll help you create your initial budget. We'll help you look at what does it take to evaluate your budget. Are you growing? Are you shrinking? Anytime your business changes, then you could have changes in what your approach needs to be. But that doesn't necessarily mean every time you have to come running to me. It just means that you need me to kind of show you what does it mean when, say, your cash suddenly drops. Does it mean you bought an asset, or does it mean your sales have dropped? Almost everybody sees when their bank account drops, but they don't always know why.
Right. Nice. So when it comes to, finding that right person for the job, that right accounting agency, what would they be looking for?
Well, I highly recommend that you interview 2, 3, even 4 CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, if you can get them. A lot of times the bookkeepers you can't also interview. But it's important that you interview those people so that you find someone you're comfortable working with. If you have somebody who's a CPA, they're probably competent. The state makes sure that they're competent. If you have somebody who's a bookkeeper, there's not any regulation of who can call themselves a bookkeeper. So you need to be very careful and really kind of vet that person, talk to their references, all of that sort of stuff. Almost like you're hiring an employee. But you want to talk to several people. You want to make sure you have a good match. And even though CPAs are regulated, temperaments vary. We're still people. And so it's important to talk to somebody that you feel comfortable with, somebody that you won't hesitate to pick up the phone and say, hey, I have a problem and I don't know how to solve it.
Right. So building that relationship, just like in any business relationship, it's important to have a positive one with your accountant. So we've started our business, we've planned, we've delegated our tasks, we're staying on track with our accountant, we're picking the right accountant. So what would be the most important tips for business owners to stay on top of their finances so that they don't lose track of it all?
It's going to sound incredibly simple, but make sure you or somebody is reconciling your accounts every single month. If you put stuff off, and I see it happen, I've got people, especially at tax time, they call me in March and tell me they're sure that they're going to reconcile a whole year's worth of bank statements before April the 1st so that they can get their taxes done. That is a very backwards way of looking at your business.
Red flag.
Yeah. That usually indicates there's a problem with the business that you don't really want to face, which is why you're not looking at it. Sometimes it indicates that you're too busy and you need to pass stuff off. But if you find that you're not looking at your bank accounts, you need to ask yourself, why am I not reconciling? You should be comparing your budget to how you actually did. There's lots of software out there that will help you do that, and QuickBooks has a budget function inside of it. Quicken even, very basic Quicken has a budget function inside of it. So you should be comparing what you thought you were going to do to what you're doing so that when you start to veer, you know that you're veering. And I really do think, a couple hours once a month to do those couple of things, they'll save you a lot of headache in the long run.
And if you don't want to, you go back to your previous tip, which is to delegate your tasks.
Right. Yeah, if you don't want to do that, delegate it to somebody who will and who will give you an executive summary. That's one of the things that I do is I send to business owners, hey, this is how your business did this month. I'm wondering, it looks like your sales increased. What are you going to do about staffing? What are your plans for marketing? Did something work really well? Are you going to continue doing that? Did it work too well? Those are the sorts of things that I send to business owners every single month.
Nice. So, staying on top. So, the big key is reconciling every month.
Not just reconciling, but comparing to your budget as well. If you don't reconcile, then you don't know that your numbers are good. It's just a basic check. But once you know your numbers are good, you need to be able to compare them to how you thought you were doing, how you did this time last year. Basically, you need to kind of put on your investigative hat and look very critically at your business and see if you're where you want to be.
Nice. And doing these steps, that's really, really the key of being in a business, the business that you envisioned when you opened doors, right? Right.
It doesn't really matter whether you're an artist or you have a construction firm. The rules of keeping on top of your finances are the same. It's really important that you stay on top of them, every bit as much as you do your personal finances. But with your business, basically the game gets bigger. You're going to be playing with bigger dollars, hopefully, if you're successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bigger dollars, bigger risk.
Right.
And so it's even more important that you stay on top of stuff.
I think you mentioned before, Jill, about payroll. And I think something that business owners tend to forget about or maybe do inappropriately or incorrectly is paying themselves. Do you see that at all?
I see that fairly often. One of the things that I think is really confusing for a lot of business owners is the different ways that you pay yourself based on your business structure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a sole proprietor, you take a draw. But you pay taxes on everything you make, whether you take it out or not.
Right.
If you're a S corporation shareholder, you might have a combination of a salary and a draw. If you're a C corporation shareholder, you just get a salary. But knowing how and when to pay yourself and ensuring that you can pay those personal bills, that's one more reason to have a really good budget.
Right, and a really good advisor helping you along the way, right?
Exactly.
Hey, Jill, I really, is there anything else you would like to add, actually, to, giving, a business owner a step in the right direction?
Really, the biggest thing is to start by finding your advisors. Don't wait until after you've had your business for a year and you get stuck with the first big tax bill to go trying to find somebody. At that point, it's a little too late to get the help that you need.
Nice. And I really appreciate how you gave us those 3 steps, involving accountant and the planning team, delegating your tasks when you get too busy or you're not good at something, and really planning a budget and keeping to it, or planning keeping to it for that matter. So I really appreciate you for being on the show. And if our listeners wanted to learn more about you or how to get in contact with you, how would they do that, Jill?
The best way to contact me is actually through my website, which is www.jilljacobscpa.com, and there is a request an appointment spot right there on the website.
Perfect. Once again, Jill, thank you so much for being our accounting expert for this series. I appreciate it.